with this type of business, I have a Fortune 5 million like type of audience where there's millions of businesses all across the United States and abroad, even more abroad. And my overhead is at $500 a month. And I can resell as many under accounts, sub accounts as I want to at whatever price I want.
We have the recession or just the economic shifts that we're having. To continue on, you need to do some form of marketing. And it just makes it very easy to get your foot in the door and go.
This is such an opportunity because we're in 2023 and like barbershops don't have a CRM. Dental companies don't send text messages that your teeth need to be cleaned every 6 months, right? So there's revenue on the table.
When you start looking at it from that perspective, it's no longer an expense. It's how you make money and, it's how you drive revenue.
Like imagine if you can help make those small business owners way more money, what that unlocks for their families, their people, their hiring. You can literally break even in a moment's notice, in a week, 2 weeks, overhead of an entire business, and then scale from there. This is recurring revenue. Like these little features are just like game changing, not only for the agencies and the coaches that use Go High Level as their backbone to offer services, but the people you serve. Yo, Robin, what time is it?
It's time to get shit done.
Let's go. What's up, guys? It's Rahul here from the GSD, and I'm treated with this very special guest, Robin Alex from Go High Level. He's the co-founder, an awesome Swiss Army knife of small businesses and agencies, coaches alike. Thanks, Robin, for spending some time here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cool. So like, I know a lot of people have heard of High Level and they may not be like as familiar. Can you kind of describe what High Level is?
Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, we've taken all the different products that many internet marketers leverage for either their business or small business, even large businesses. And we've taken the best of those elements and put it under one tool. And we've then taken it to the lens of a marketer who, may represent themselves as a marketing agency or, digital entrepreneur who helps businesses, and allow them to resell it or white label it with our tools. And we want to create SaaSpreneurs along the way. So you're selling and enabling businesses with your own software product.
Yeah. So essentially you guys have built all the technology and then you're allowing other people that they can just buy the license and then put their logo on it like it's their co-branded item and then kind of like package it the way they want it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Like some of the features, because I'm a power user, if you will. I was kind of in the day one betas of the group. So I'm really familiar with the technology. I've been through a lot of softwares myself, like from Infusionsoft or Keep, what they're called now, and ClickFunnels and ActiveCampaign and Calendly and all those tools. I mean, they're all awesome. And don't get me wrong, they're all cool tools, but they're just so disconnected where it's like, log into one, log into another, and just matching that data up becomes a little treacherous as you have like a team or even for yourself. So I call it like the Swiss Army knife. It's like all this stuff just like in one click of my Chrome browser, it's all logged in. My opportunities, my contacts, my funnels, my websites, my reputation management. If I wanted to increase revenue today because I built a big database, I just send a text message blast out and saying, hey, we have this event coming up. It's free for a day. And then it's $47 for the VIP event. Do you want to join? And saying, here's the landing page. We can get 20, 30 subscribers just from a text blast. And then we get people who are paying customers, right? So that's what I love about the software, is that it just enables like quote unquote life to be just way easier to run the business.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like all those tools that you mentioned, they're great in their own regard. But the challenging component is how do you get it to talk to each other? And that is another level of sophistication. And we wanted to remove that and make it easy and just enable people that anybody can do it. And, being able to put it in the lens of a marketer and how they function just makes the enablement so much easier and faster along the way.
Yeah. And especially like as we're going into 2023, there's so many people that are like skeptical because there's so many marketers out there now, so like even like I've been in the space for a long time. You've been in the space for a long time. It's not getting easier. It's only getting harder and also more competitive. And the way I've been positioning my version of High Level, which I call Follow-Up Monster, is that's my foot in the door. It's like, hey, let's solve like a simplified problem that has high profit margins for me. And then we can build a relationship. And then a week, 2 weeks later, then we can talk about doing the marketing services once we built it on a foundation of trust. Because once we started implementing this a few years ago, the conversations changed dramatically, because if I went in with my marketing services people were like trying to find a reason why it wouldn't work. Now, when I come in with SaaS and AI included within it, it's like, wow, this is so effective. How can we do more business with you? So it's kind of a whole different trajectory of mindset, and it makes the client stay a lot longer. And if we ever do stumble across like a retention issue, like if the marketing isn't as effective, or we have that he said, she said conversation with clients, like a lot of marketing agencies have, where it's lead suck, no, they don't, you don't call, all that stuff, we still have the foundation of the spinal cord of a business, right? Like their database is literally like operating with a spine. And if you take away the spine, the body can't stand. Same thing, in my opinion, with a business. If you don't have like a proper tool, and the smaller you are, the more important it is, the bigger you are, the more mistakes you can clearly make with money. But the smaller you are, the bigger you can get, because it's like everything's consolidated into one. And I don't think a lot of like not only agency owners, but small businesses don't realize that. And that's why I think this is such an opportunity, because we're in 2023 and like barbershops don't have a CRM. Dental companies don't
Yeah.
send text messages that your teeth need to be cleaned every 6 months, right? So there's revenue on the table.
Yeah. So, I mean, I look at businesses in the sense of you've heard of the digital divide, right?
Hmm.
I think in the business world, it's not so much about getting online anymore. I think that's table stakes. I think it's now the marketing divide. Either you have marketing or you don't. And the foot in the door that you mentioned, and as a start, is just a checkbox. I have marketing. Now, do I know what that means? No, but you want to feel good that you have some sort of marketing, and some of it's effective, some of it's not. And I think with a lot of marketers using our tool, you have those tools, where it's doing like a database reactivation or review reputation. You could do something that's actionable, so that it is a true foot in the door, and then you could value stack on top of it with other additional services that not only the software can provide, but you as the marketer or the marketing agency can add on additional services along the way. But just as a general concept, businesses are at that pivotal point. We have the recession or just the economic shifts that we're having. For you to be, to continue on, you need to do some form of marketing. And it just makes it very easy to get your foot in the door and go.
Yeah, and some of the cool things like we've been sharing inside of our inner circle and our GSD team is like using high level as the foot in the door to take advantage to start the relationship at the very, very least. But then when somebody buys, like let's say isolates one feature, like get reputation management to increase your reputation on the internet, your goodwill to the public opinion, and then it can rank higher, et cetera. Getting them addicted to that feature and focus on that feature. But then there's so many more. So if you isolate that one, that could be worth $197 a month to somebody, where it's just completely done for them, or a little bit more depending on what they do. But then you can come in with offer number two, which could be social media automation with the social planner. And then number three could be database reactivation. So you can kind of like pick and choose feature by feature to implement into a business, and then keep value stacking just what's within the software itself.
Definitely. I mean, that's the way to win. It's starting with what is the lowest denominator that you can serve as many people as possible in the very easiest way that you can. And then from there, it's easy to navigate the waters on what's next for every single business, because it's always interesting walking into a business and they do their what they think are different forms of marketing, and you always want to jump the shark to doing some advanced things. But reality is you always have to do the base. You have to do kind of the groundwork, the foundation before you could do any of that stuff. And people always forget about that. And so if you structure it right with your offers, that foot in the door in many ways is that proper foundation. And then from there it just makes it easy to go up.
Yeah, like I mean, you guys are constantly evolving this product, and what's unique and what's impressive at the same time is the transparency and the method you do it, because it's like it's almost like the community is part of the build. Like we get to vote on what are the features. You guys are giving us updates like along the way, like, hey, we're betaing this is coming out, get excited, this is what it's going to do. Then you launched it, then you revise it, then you improve it, then you stack on top of it. So it's kind of like everybody feels so connected to the community and creates bonds and friendships with complete strangers on a social media profile. The way you guys have created this stuff, it's like in front of our face. It's not like there's a Wizard of Oz and a curtain. It's like we get to be a part of the build and enjoy that process. So it's kind of awesome what you guys have accomplished and come up with.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's From a strategy perspective, we look at it as we don't have to predict the future. We don't have to build something that we don't know if people want or need. It's literally listen to our customers and just building where they're at that moment. And if we can consistently stay ahead of the curve with those people in that moment, we'll be just fine. We don't have to, try thinking of something new that no one in the world knows that exists and then start educating people, building a whole sales team and trying to convince people this is where they need to go. It's just we're just staying with the market and riding the wave with them.
Yeah, I don't think you guys need to get ahead of the curve. I think you guys are the curve people are trying to get catch up to at this stage.
But it's just staying and just listening to our community, right? Like any hints that we can get from customers is usually a
Right.
good indicator for us, so we
Totally.
don't have to wait.
Yeah, and the cool part is like if I was to start an agency over, like I started in 2004, if somebody asked me this question, what would you do if you were doing it with SaaS? I mean, this is like the tool that I can make millions of dollars off of, compounded over a year or two if I scale this thing. Because like I'm looking at what are business opportunities. I can buy a McDonald's franchise or a Chipotle, let's say, but those are going to cost 300, $400,000, and I still don't have burgers served. I just got to hire the staff, drive the traffic in, be in a good location, pay back the lenders. With this type of business, I have a Fortune 5 million like type of audience where there's millions of businesses all across the United States and abroad, even more abroad. And my overhead is at $500 a month, and I can resell as many under accounts, sub accounts as I want to at whatever price I want. So you can literally break even in a moment's notice in a week, 2 weeks for a whole entire overhead of an entire business, and then scale from there. One of the coolest things for the audience that's listening is that, like, honestly, this is recurring revenue. And it's like when a plumber comes to my house and fixes the toilet, it might take him 10 minutes, but it's going to cost me $400. It's because he knows where to bang the pipes. And now when you know how to bang the pipes of unlocking future potential revenue, it's just such a magical thing to not have to like argue with a customer or like sending you messages like, holy shit, that text back worked. Like that missed call text sequence while I was sleeping, that guy ended up booking the morning appointment rather than going back to Google. Like these little features are just like game changing, not only for the agencies and the coaches that use Go High Level as their backbone to offer services, but the people you serve. Like imagine if you can help make those small business owners way more money, what that unlocks for their families, their people, their hiring, you know? So it's kind of like
Yeah,
a big thing.
yeah, and when you start looking at it from that perspective, it's no longer an expense.
Mhm.
It's how you make money, and it's how you drive revenue. And I think along that same lines, people forget that you can use it for yourself. So as the marketing agency, you can use those same tools and those same strategies for your own business. And now it's no longer an expense of $500 a month. This is actually how I make my money. And this is how I bring in more customers and provide more value to my customer base.
Yeah, that leads me to like, I'm glad you brought that up because that's almost like the shoemaker with no shoes. Like, I see a lot of digital marketing agencies that don't do digital marketing because they don't have time or money to spend on ads or
Yeah.
SEO. This now, you're the SaaSpreneur that does marketing that uses the tool that becomes the expert in no time. So it's kind of cool that you don't have to have that necessarily that quote unquote imposter syndrome, if you will. Now you're in the mix with everybody. So it's kind of cool to have that on your side too.
Yeah, it's the fastest way to start the flywheel effect.
Yeah.
In business, you want to keep compounding as much as you can, and if you use it for yourself, and then also as you use it for yourself, bring in more customers, then you start doing it for your customers, and they start growing as well. And then there's kind of the network effect that happens from that. They're gonna have such a great experience. They're gonna start talking to other people, and it just starts compounding very quickly.
Yeah, totally. So, Robin, thanks for your time. I know you're busy. You got a lot of things building and brewing at high level. We are going to be doing a special announcement. We're going to be having Robin and some of the members of the team, we're not revealing the names just yet, that are going to join us in a challenge that we're hosting. So, we're going to be inviting you. You're welcome to join. We're going to have the co-founders giving us some insights onto the software and the platform that can help you guys make a lot of money or look at the perspectives of how you can leverage it. That's going to be March 28th to the 30th. And thanks for hopping on, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Robin.